New subsidiary legislation of the domestic security law comes into force today, just a day after it was tabled to the Legislative Council amid escalating geopolitical tensions. Amid de-escalation of the Sino-US tariff wars, President Xi Jinping reiterates there's no winners in tariff wars or trade wars, while US President Donald Trump says he may call his Chinese counterpart this weekend. And the government rolls out a community dental support program with non-governmental organizations aiming to serve 40,000 underprivileged patients each year. Good evening. You're watching Cable News. I'm Evelyn Bai. Two subsidiary laws under the Safeguarding National Security Ordinance were gazetted and took effect today, just one day after the legislation was presented to the Legislative Council. 6 locations used by the National Security Office are now classified as prohibited places. Xu Ren reports.
The acting chief executive and council approved additional rules to the Safeguarding National Security Ordinance, following Security Chief Chris Tang's remarks emphasizing the need for swift enactment amid a turbulent global geopolitical landscape. The new laws designated 6 offices for safeguarding national security premises as prohibited places. 3 of them are on Hong Kong Island, including 148 Tung Lo Wan Road, 9 City Garden Road, and 152 Connaught Road West. The other 3 sites are in Kowloon, including 1 Cheung Chung Road, the site at the junction of Hoi Fai and Shen Mong Roads, as well as Hoi Fan Road. Unauthorized entry to these sites is punishable by up to 2 years imprisonment upon conviction. The laws also mandate compliance with legal documents issued by the OSNS in Hong Kong and prohibit unauthorized disclosure of information related to its investigations. Violations carry penalties of up to 7 years imprisonment and a $500,000 fine. Meanwhile, obstructing or impersonating OSNS personnel is punishable by up to 3 years imprisonment and a $200,000 fine. The rules also require all government departments, agencies, and civil servants to provide full assistance and facilitation to the OSNS when it exercises its jurisdiction. The enacted subsidiary legislation will then go through negative vetting procedure at the Legislative Council. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
Amid a significant de-escalation of trade tensions, President Xi Jinping hit out at bullying and hegemonism in his first public remarks since the US and China agreed to a truce over tariffs. In contrast, US President Donald Trump hailed a trade deal and said he would speak to Xi soon. Anna Chen reports.
President Xi made the remarks at the opening of the China Community of Latin American and Caribbean States Forum in Beijing today.
关税战、贸易战没有赢家，霸凌霸道只会孤立自身。
There are no winners in tariff wars or trade wars. Bullying or hegemonism only leads to self-isolation, he said. The Chinese leader told the audience that great changes unseen in a century are accelerating, which have made unity and cooperation among nations indispensable. Xi added that in the face of seething undercurrents of geopolitical and bloc confrontation and the surging tide of unilateralism and protectionism, China stands ready to join hands with the Latin American and Caribbean partners. China offered fresh credit lines of just under $10 billion in Chinese yuan, as well as visa-free travel to Latin America to encourage greater engagement with the region. US President Donald Trump also made his first public comments on the tariff pause, hailing a total reset in relations with China.
The talks in Geneva were very friendly. The relationship is very good. We're not looking to hurt China. I'll speak to President Xi maybe at the end of the week. We have some other things we're doing.
Meanwhile, the White House touted a historic trade win for the United States, stating that the tariff reductions of 115% from both sides demonstrated Trump's unparalleled expertise in securing deals that benefit the American people. Anna Chen, Cable News.
Besides, the United States has also reduced tariffs on low-value imports from China, including those from Hong Kong and Macau, lowering the duty on de minimis shipments from 120% to 54%. This follows a mutual agreement between the two nations to de-escalate trade tensions and continue negotiations. Experts say this cooling off the trade war came sooner than expected, but trade volumes are unlikely to return to previous levels soon. Xu Rin reports.
Under an executive order signed by U.S. President Donald Trump, de minimis items shipped through the U.S. Postal Service now face a 54% tariff, or a maximum of $100 per item, down from the previous 120% rate. This comes amid a temporary thaw in the U.S.-China trade war, following the U.S. decision to lower duties on Chinese goods from 145% to 30%. Taking to the airwaves, Willie Lin, a logistics industry spokesperson, noted that despite the reduction, some products could still face tariffs of up to 70% when factoring in baseline duties and additional measures like Section 301 tariffs. Lin added that Chinese factories are expected to focus on clearing a backlog of orders instead of new ones, with many manufacturers struggling to manage an overwhelming pile-up of goods awaiting export. Economics and finance expert Billy Mack described the tariff rollback as both faster and larger than expected. He attributed the move to dwindling supplies of Chinese goods in the U.S., which poses a risk of worsening inflation. Mack predicted a surge in Chinese exports as factories rush to capitalize on the 90-day window, given uncertainties surrounding future U.S. trade policies. However, he also warned that the U.S. is buying time to strategize its coming moves, urging businesses to continue to diversify into other markets to mitigate risks. Cheryl Yun, Cable News.
The Department of Health will roll out the Community Dental Support Program on May 26th, offering subsidized services such as tooth extractions and fillings to underprivileged groups facing financial difficulties. Bess Leung has more details.
To alleviate the pressure on public hospitals' dental services, the program involves 77 dental clinics across the city, operated by 32 non-governmental organizations. The program is estimated to benefit around 40,000 residents each year. Eligible beneficiaries cover 5 subsidy schemes, such as the Old Age Living Allowance and Community Care Service Voucher Scheme for the elderly. In addition to tooth extractions and filling, oral checkups, pain relief and X-ray examination services will also be offered. Each eligible applicant can apply for the services once every 180 days, with a maximum of 3 teeth treated per visit. Each tooth treated will be charged an administrative fee of $50 for people with Old Age Living Allowance and Community Care Service Voucher Scheme.
The administration charged $50 is a fee, but compared to the treatment they receive, I think it's really not a lot. But also we have a safety net for the second tier that they can have total waive. So I think this is very safe for that. With the new program coming out now, we are happy to tell you that we hope the public can have more choices and that these choices can give them the chance to save their teeth with a reasonable fee that they can manage.
Meanwhile, thanks to a surge in dental manpower, 9 government dental clinics will increase quotas by nearly 30%, rising from some 20,000 annual appointments to between 24,000 and 26,000. Bess Leung, Cable News.
Detained ex-Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte has again won the mayorship of Davao City in midterm elections. Early results showed. The former president was arrested last March and was taken to the International Criminal Court in The Hague, awaiting trial for crimes against humanity. Under Philippine election law, only a criminal conviction in a local court can keep a candidate off the ballot. Preliminary results showed Duterte has been elected as mayor in his home city by a landslide, while his youngest son, Sebastian, the incumbent mayor of Davao is also leading the unofficial vote count in the race for Davao vice mayor. At least 5 candidates backed by the Duterte family were among those leading the race for 12 senators. The results came as a boost for Duterte's daughter, Vice President Sara Duterte, ahead of her impeachment trial in July. To be acquitted, she needs at least 9 of the 24 senators to vote in her favor. But if convicted, she will be disqualified from holding public office forever. She was accused of alleged misuse of public funds and plotting to assassinate President Ferdinand Marcos Jr., son of the country's former dictator Ferdinand Marcos Sr. This midterm election has become a critical barometer of the strength of these two political dynasties. The Kurdistan Workers' Party militant group, which has been locked in bloody conflict with Turkey for more than 4 decades, has decided to disband and end its armed struggle. Anna Chen has the story.
The PKK declared it will disarm and disband at the Congress last week after a call from its jailed leader earlier this year. Leaders of the militia group, which is regarded as a terrorist organization in Turkey, the UK and the US, said their armed insurgency had brought the Kurdish issue to the point of resolution through democratic politics. And in this regard, the PKK has completed its historical mission. PKK launched its insurgency in 1984, primarily targeting Turkish military infrastructure, seeking greater recognition and independence for Kurdish communities in southeast Turkey. More than 40,000 have been killed in the 40-year conflict.
Kritik bir eşiği daha
Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan labeled the PKK's move an important threshold towards Ankara's goal of a terrorism-free country. The winners will be our people and country, and actually all our siblings in our region, he added. The decision could boost NATO member Turkey's political and economic stability and encourage moves to ease tensions in neighboring Iraq and Syria, where Kurdish forces aligned with U.S. forces. Anna Chen, Cable News.
The Urban Renewal Authority's Shantung Street Thistle Street redevelopment project has attracted multiple bids from top developers in the city. Great Eagle, CK Assets, Chinacam Group, K-War International, Poly Property, and China Overseas were among the multiple bidders for the URA's first project of the year. The Shantung Street Thistle Street project has a site area of 26,000 square feet, with a maximum gross floor area of 160,000 square feet. To allow design flexibility, the URA relocated part of the non-residential plot ratio to residential use for the first time, raising the residential plot ratio to 8.5 times, with the GFA unchanged. It is expected to yield 380 flats upon completion. In addition, the project needs to reserve 30,000 square feet of floor area for government, institution, or community facilities, which will be exempted from GFA calculation. The project earlier drew a total of 28 expressions of interest. Market valuation for the development is estimated at $706 million to over $900 million, marking a per square foot price of as high as $6,000. Now let's take a look at the stock markets. The Hang Seng Index ended the day down 441 points. Foreign exchange against the Hong Kong dollar, Canadian dollar 5.57, Australian dollar 4.99. Onto the weather now. Mainly cloudy with isolated showers tomorrow. The minimum temperature will be about 25 degrees in the morning, hot with sunny periods during the day. The maximum temperature will be around 30 degrees. Moderate easterly winds. Now let's take a look at the weather around the world. That's our news tonight. I'm Evelyn Bai. Thanks for watching and good night.